traditional Zoom background.
All right, welcome everyone. We're actually doing a hidden AI app showcase today. We talk about Gemini Flow or Google Flow. I don't know how they brand their things nowadays.
Do we have the streamers in yet, buddy?
They're usually 30 seconds behind on the stream, so they usually come up in about 15 seconds or so, and it starts pushing out to people. Thank you guys for joining.
Seems about right.
All right, yeah, Johnny, let's go.
I'm ready, man.
Welcome to Season 11 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute AI power-up at noon Eastern. This month, we are broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free AI community to grow alongside other curious minds and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead after-school program. Here is April's weekly lineup. Mondays, we take the training wheels off and run AI locally in the local LLM Forge. Tuesdays, we explore accessible AI apps for rapid learning and self-improvement in the Learner's Toolkit. Wednesdays, we build a company of one from scratch in Solopreneur Systems. Thursdays, we uncover bite-sized productivity and creative tools in Hidden AI App Showcase. Fridays, we push the boundaries of human longevity and biohacking in the Biological Upgrade. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome, Airheads and Andy, to Season 11 of Airhead Institute. Today is Episode 5 of the Hidden AI Apps Showcase, and I'm your number 2 Airhead, AI Johnny. Most brands bleed thousands of dollars and weeks of time waiting on mediocre product photography. But what if visual perfection took exactly 4 seconds? Today, we are obliterating the traditional studio model. Today, we expose the mechanics to transform raw text into ultra-premium photorealistic brand assets. No cameras, no lighting rigs, just raw, creative leverage. Missing these next 45 minutes is an absolute professional sabotage to your business. So I'm handing this over to AI Junior. I caught him at 3 a.m. this morning using this technology to picture himself beating Usain Bolt. The AI awarded him gold, but inexplicitly added a third leg. AI Junior, take it away, tripod.
AI Johnny, thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for actually joining. Well, again, remember, this is an AI show. If you actually want to have any competitive advantage in the latent space, you need to add that third leg, AI Johnny. So welcome everyone again. This is immersive class. If you don't understand everything we say today, just stick with us daily and you'll be fluent in AI in no time. Make the connection to the AI class. We'll be giving you visual superpowers today. It is an interactive, immersive class. So again, if you're on Zoom, unmute yourself, ask your questions real time. If you're on socials, there's a 30-second delay, so type your questions in early. We're not ignoring you. For context, we're wrapping up our 5-week season of our Thursday Hidden App Showcase, bringing you bite-sized, mind-blowing creative tool. Today, we're heading over to Google Flow to explore the newest image generation model, Nano Banana 2 and Nano Banana Pro, in this actual lovely tool. AI Johnny, you ready?
Yep. Hey, before we even touch the software, we're going to go straight to our official language model of the Institute, Google Gemini. We always consult our high-level colleague before we dive in. So we asked Gemini, what is the single most mind-blowing fact about Nano Banana 2 inside Google Flow right now?
All right, so Gemini analyzed its own documentation and stated Nano Banana 2 is a state-of-the-art model capable of complex image composition and multi-image blending, but its true power is unlocked when you access Nano Banana Pro, which instantly upgrades standard generation in high-quality fidelity images, commercial-grade assets, those type of things, all in one tool.
All right, buddy. Are we going to go into the wow factor?
Definitely. Check this out. Hey, Adrian, thank you for joining. All right, yeah, Jenny. So let's check this out. So I'm gonna bring up Flow here for you guys, and I'm gonna drop the link in the actual chat so you guys can actually follow along. And if we actually go into the actual chat, let me see here. All right, there you go, guys. So if you actually go into the actual chat, we actually have flow. Now, flow may look different for, depending on what you actually have been doing recently. You're going to see a lot of things. So first I want to say is don't get overwhelmed by the tool, right? So if you haven't used flow in a while, if you've never used flow, just go ahead and click that link and you can follow in real time. You need a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, try to sign up for one. You get a lot of free Google services with that Google account. So if you actually click there, head on over to a new project and you'll see something like this. Let me know if you guys need any help with anything. We're actually doing this real time. So if you guys actually get stuck or anything, just let me know. All right, yeah, Johnny. So this is Flow. Now let me zoom in on the screen here a little bit so you guys can actually see. So the most important part of Flow is this bottom section right here. So we actually have Nano Banana Pro selected, but once you select it, you can actually switch over to any of the actual models. The beautiful part about Flow is that you can generate both images and video all in the same interface. Yeah, right, yeah, Johnny?
Yep. And sometimes you need those images to create your videos if you're using ingredients or you're doing frame to frame, right?
Exactly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick an image. And because we're going to pick an image, we want to pick our aspect ratio. Now, aspect ratio, this is a little confusing to a lot of people. Aspect ratio just means the actual orientation and the actual proportions of the actual item. Okay, Andy's actually asking a question. Is 4x for yes, so Andy, before you actually jump ahead, love that you're actually doing it. So Andy asked the question. Let me bring it up on screen. Andy's asking, is the times 4 saying create 4 options with each generation? You're absolutely right. So before you actually generate anything, let's explain the first level, and then we'll get to the multiply by 4. So the aspect ratio is
your aspect ratios, brother. Your aspect ratios are both portrait and landscape, right? And you choose them based on the platform that you might be posting to on social. Correct?
So it's a little bit more technical than that. So let me just get into it. So an aspect ratio is the mathematical relationship or ratio between one of the sides with respect to the other side. So if you actually see here, let me zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, Jenny, remember those TVs that we actually had back in the day? And the TVs itself were kind of like rectangle, but not perfectly square?
Yeah.
So those were...
I remember all the way back to square TVs.
Yeah, so that's a 1x1. If it's square, that means the width and the height is exactly the same. So it's a 1x1 relationship. If I actually go back to the older TVs, there are 4x3s. It's a little bit wider than it is taller. And then we have now new TVs, which is the HD screens, which actually is much, much wider than it is taller. So that's a 16x9. Now, AI Johnny did mention something pretty interesting is that you can actually turn these things on its side. So if you actually look at a TV, a 16x9, you could actually turn it vertically, and that's called portrait mode, and that's 9x16. So the 16x9 and the 9x16 is exactly the same image. Only thing is just turned 90 degrees. Same thing with a 4x3 TV. Those little older TVs, you can actually turn them. Now, if, say, for example, you want to generate, as AI Johnny mentioned, you wanted to generate, say, for example, a thing for a YouTube short or a TikTok, you'd want to generate a 9x16 image. If, say, for example, you wanted to print out a flyer or a piece of paper, you'll want to do a 3x4. But sometimes you may want to turn the flyer sideways, and you may want to do a horizontal flyer, so you do a 4x3. They give you a little image here to be able to explain what those things mean. Does that make sense for everybody who's actually on the call before I actually jump into Andy's question about what does the times 4 mean? Oh, Andy says that's the best explanation I've ever heard of these. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. All right. No,
I saw a comedian the other day that said he called UPS because he wanted them to come and pick up a box for shipment. And they asked him what the weight of the box was and what the girth of the box was. And he said he didn't know what the weight was and he doesn't know what girth is. So he hung up the phone.
Okay, why did he hang up the phone?
That's because he didn't know what girth was. He didn't want to embarrass himself. Truth be told, I'm not 100% sure on what girth is either. I assume it's the area.
No, it's the length around the entire box. So just this is the total length around.
No, that's circumference.
Well,
Andy, help us out here.
circumference is for a circle, so it's a similar thing. All right, so
it's a funny bit though that Regan does in that one. It is a funny bit.
Yeah. All right, so
let's go back. Let's get back to AI.
All right, so check this out. All right, so this row itself, this is a really important one. So Andy actually asked again. This question was, is that times 4? How create 4 options for each generation? Now, if you're on the free plan, you need to be careful of what you select here. So if you're on a free plan, you only have a certain amount of tokens. So this means 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations, or 4 generations. If you actually pick 4 for every single prompt, it will actually use a certain amount of credits multiplied by 4. Okay, so you want to be careful of if you're on a free plan, or you want to be careful if you're just tweaking your prompt, you want to select 1 initially. But if you're really, really certain, or you're on an unlimited all-you-can-eat plan, go ahead and hit 4. We're on the all-you-can-eat plan. So we're going to select 4. But for people who actually have very limited credits, select 1. Once you're happy, you may bump it up to 2. If you're really, really confident, go for the 4. But you're going to be wasting a lot of credits on 3 if you're going to throw away one of the actual images.
Dude, isn't there a way that you can select like fast, and even if you are paying credits, it'll do it free? So that you can kind of play around making videos for free until you get one that you like, and then kick it up to pro and start burning credits.
That's only if you're on the all-you-can-eat plan. So if you're on the big boy, the big kahuna, and that's for videos. So we're doing that. So unfortunately, most people aren't going to be paying that. So we're actually probably, gearing towards the people who don't have the big boy plan right now. And the big boy plan is about $250 per month. So keep that in mind. You probably are not on that all-you-can-eat plan. All right, yeah. All right, yeah, Johnny. Is everybody else following along so far? All right. So now that we actually have that, we're going to actually do something interesting. Now, again, the prompt doesn't really matter, but we're going to actually show the difference and how you can quickly switch. So I'm going to drop, Shauna actually dropped a message in. Let's bring her comment in. I am clearly surrounded by math nerds here in class today. Absolutely. Hey, Mustafa, thanks for joining. All right. So if you actually see, I'm going to drop in a prompt so you guys can just play with something. So if you actually generate you can pick whatever aspect ratio you want. You can pick how many times you want to generate, but we're going to start off with Nano Banana 2. Now, Nano Banana Pro is the more powerful, more expensive model. The Nano Banana 2 is the cheaper, more efficient model, right? So we're going to start off with Nano Banana 2. And honestly, depending on if you're, you have these people who are actually really, really good at spotting differences in images. Yeah, Johnny, remember those cartoon strips where you'd say, I can spot the differences between these two? Well, if you actually use Nano Banana 2 versus Nano Banana Pro, it's going to be really, really hard to be able to say, hey, I can see maybe the shadow of here might be a little bit different, or here look a little bit more photorealistic. But honestly, to the normal person, they look almost the same. So I would definitely recommend using Nano Banana 2 because of the cost and lower using credits. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a sleek, hyper-realistic e-commerce lifestyle shot of a modern titanium coffee mug sitting on a rustic wooden table with morning sunlight streaming through the nearby window. Edge, anyone throw a monkey wrench into any in this prompt?
Maybe a tiny little hidden "Where's Waldo"?
Add a "Where is Waldo" lurking in the image. All right, let's do that. All right, so these models are actually thinking models. So when I actually hit the send button, because I hit 4, it's going to go ahead and generate 4 images. So if you actually see here, it's generating 4 images. Nano Banana 2 is actually built for speed. So these images are going to come back in about 15 seconds or so. So in about 5 seconds, I should actually have my images coming back in. And
so yesterday we did a show on the titanium mugs, right? So this is just to play off yesterday's show.
That is correct. We're building. So if you come to our shows
Branding.
every
Solopreneur, right?
there you go. So if you guys come to our shows every single day, you'll actually see the same theme coming in. So we actually see the first one coming in here, and check this out, guys. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger.
I spotted Waldo right away.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this a little bit.
Where's Waldo ever?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll actually make this image bigger. Let me download it so you guys can actually see. And here is a Where's Waldo image. All right, so let me make this full screen. So here you go. So here's the quality of the Nano Banana image, and you can see Where's Waldo right here in the back. You know, it's not that hidden.
There's two of them. There's two Waldos.
I wouldn't call him as Waldo. Where's Waldo? Where's the second Waldo?
I think that one up there is a Waldo too.
No. We'll definitely argue about this one. Waldo has his classic striped shirts. This guy's not a Waldo.
Blow it up. I bet you that shirt is striped.
No, yeah, Johnny. Not even close. Hold on, let me move over. There you go. No, not striped. Not striped. Not striped. All right. So let's look at the Nano Banana version. So I'm going to keep this version up, and so you guys can actually see it. It's actually a pretty nice image. I honestly can't tell the difference. But let's say, for example, hey, thank you, Afro Energy Songs. Thank you so much. All right, so getting a lot of comments in the live stream. Yes, Mustafa says that it was a very hidden, very hidden, and liked it. All right, thanks, Mustafa, and thank you, Afro Energy Songs. All right, so if you actually check out, this is Nano Banana 2, right? But yeah, Johnny, what if you want to go for a little bit more professional look? Honestly, I can't tell the difference. But in Flow, you have the ability to do some amazing things. So we're going to go back to to Flow. And then with any one of our images here, we can actually select anyone. We know we picked the first one, but there's a little button here that allows you to be able to reuse the prompt. So we're going to reuse the prompt. And what that would do is it will populate everything that we did to generate this image. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger again, and let's no longer select Nano Banana 2. We're going to go ahead and select Nano Banana Pro. Okay, if you guys are following me,
full disclosure, whether you're making images or you're making videos, being able to reuse your prompt is a huge thing, because even though you can make as many as 4 different tries on your prompt, oftentimes none of the 4 work. So what you want to do is bring your prompt back in, maybe tweak it a little bit, but the ability to bring your prompt back is a big thing, because my experiences with Flow is not so much for images. Images, it nails it better. But when you go to make a video, man, I'm telling you, sometimes I need a little 8-second video, and I do 50 tries to get it right, which is a lot if you're trying to make a 90-minute movie out of 8-second clips.
Yes, you're absolutely right, yeah, Johnny. You have to use it a lot. All right, Andy's actually asking, where is the reuse prompt button? So let me go ahead and zoom in, and let's do that again. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and we're going to zoom out a little bit. So on
it looks like a U-turn, right?
Yeah. So let's actually look. Oh, look at that. That one's funny, actually. This guy here. So if you actually look on your screen, depending on your settings, now the default settings may be a little bit different, because when you actually save your preferences, depends on what it may look like. First of all, I want to make sure that you guys have access to your settings button. So in the top right, all the way to the top, there is a little cog or a little gear that has the settings. If you click on that, it will show you a little drop down that shows what kind of view mode you want. So mine is actually set to batch. It's also set to large, but you can change it down to medium if you want. And you can actually say, I want to be the sound on hover, all those things. That's not really important for this. But if you actually select batch and medium, you'll be able to see, all the actual images. Because you're going to see all the images, there is a little button here called reuse prompt. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let me scroll down. It has a little like a U-turn on the side. It says reuse prompt. And if you actually click that button, it will populate your prompt down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the button here, Nano Banana 2. We're going to change it from Nano Banana 2, and we're going to change it to Nano Banana Pro. Now remember, this is the most expensive model. So if you have very little credits, you may actually not get access to generate this if you're on the free version, or they may tell you, you're generating too fast. So yeah, John, you ready to generate this from Nano Banana Pro?
What do we? What do we do? Are we just going to make it crisper, cleaner, better?
Well,
Because we're using now?
I just wanted the people to actually see that there is a
Okay.
difference between Pro and honestly, I can't tell the difference. But I do know there is a difference. So while that's actually coming back, yeah, Johnny, let's actually hit them with the word of the day while that's actually coming back.
Okay. Today, by the way, see that video that you're doing right there? I'm guessing that was done with Flow.
That is flow, all flow.
So our opening video, our closing video, all of our assets for as far back as I can remember, have always been done with Flow. So the word of the day today is, of course, latent space. $5 in the tip jar. By definition, it is a complex, multi-dimensional mathematical representation where the AI stores compressed visual concepts. Analogy time. It's like a massive invisible library where similar visual ideas like coffee, cups, and morning sunlight are shelved right next to each other. We could do a whole show on that.
Exactly. So let's get a little bit deeper on the word of the day. So when Nano Banana 2 generates an image, it isn't searching Google for a picture of a mug. It actually navigates its latent space to a mathematical blend of the concept where mug is and sunlight. But because it relies on that latent space, and again, if you're joining us for the first time, we're actually picking words of the day for the whole entire season and going through all these mathematical definitions and those type of things. So latent space itself, it graphs it on this latent space. It actually knows when you talk about the coffee mug, the table, the sunlight, and it figures out what other things needs to be together in that shot to make it look ultra real. So all these images that you're actually seeing, and let's go back over to Flow to see what it generated. So you'll see coffee mug, coffee mug, coffee mug on a table, wooden counter, those type of things. It figures out that a book might be nice, a windowsill itself, having a coffee pot. All those things itself are just mathematical, statistical probabilities that you would see in a typical home that has a coffee mug on a table. So that's why it's actually able to generate those images that
Quick
look
sidebar.
random. Hmm.
Quick sidebar. Do you remember the show we did where they were talking about trying to get through, like to prove you're human, and they would show you like 9 images, and they would say, click which ones of these images are coffee mugs or stop signs or bridges or buses.
Yep.
Didn't we determine at the end of that aside from proving that you're human, you're also teaching AI all the different variations of what a coffee cup or a stoplight or a wooden table or a bicycle or a bus or a panda bear look like?
You're absolutely right. That was the old day of teaching the AI when we never had that much ability. But now we're actually doing a
Yep.
really good job of even creating synthetic data to train AI. All right, so
Cool.
my images came back. So yeah, Johnny. So just a reminder, this is what the Nano Banana 2 images came back with, and this is what the Nano Banana Pro image came back with. Now, again, if you were to split hairs on this and say, yeah, I can tell a difference, I'm going to give it to you and say, sure, you can tell a difference. I personally can't tell the difference. Both look amazing to me. And, because the amount of credits that you're burning through, I think Nano Banana 2 is a perfect option to do generic things right now, especially with the words. It's spelled titanium right. It actually has a newspaper there with, it looks like the word morning. It looks decent. I see the Nano Banana Pro has Atlas, coffee gear, everything's spelled right. I'll give both a pass. Right, yeah,
I
Johnny?
remember back in 1989, I used to have like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 lines of code on a basic computer program taped to the wall in my office, and there was one bug somewhere in those thousands of lines. And Andy'd come strolling into my office with this titanium coffee mug, and I'd be like, Andy, there's a bug in here somewhere. And he wouldn't tell me where the bug is. He'd go like, look at maybe the 3rd page, about 3/4 of the way down. It looks like there might be something in there. And then he would leave. And I'd go look at that 3rd page, go 3/4 of the way down, and I'd find him, a semicolon where it doesn't belong or something. It's kind of the reason I put in Waldo. I want because Andy's got that eye for detail.
Definitely, definitely. We have some comments coming in. So, Mustafa is actually saying Nana Banana 2 is a little better for me. Definitely get that, especially the price. Sean is actually saying this is great, guys. Thanks for your advice to save on credit usage. And then Andy obviously is responding, I am a bot, dude. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Join. We're the AI bots trio.
He's a busy guy. He's got to send his bot. Hey,
Exactly.
we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to some video at some point, aren't we?
No. So we're gonna go over to the killer features right now.
Okay. What do you say we look at these killer features that make Nano Banana 2 and Pro a superpower for creators inside Google Flow? You want me to go through over them, or you want to do them?
Sure. Take at least one, Johnny.
The Pro upgrade, as you saw, you don't need a convoluted prompt. You get a baseline output, and Nano Banana Pro engine handles the complex upscaling automatically, which
Yeah.
is both good and bad, right?
Yeah.
You can get a decent image with a one sentence prompt, but it's not really what you told it to do. It's what it just interpreted by reading between the lines. If you want something specific, you're going to have to pad your prompt with more context and more detail.
Yeah, so let's get into that for a little second. So if you guys look at the prompt that I actually dropped in, we didn't actually use a lot of words, right? And we have to understand that most people aren't prompt engineers. So when using a TTI model, a text to image model, you're gonna realize that if you become a verbose, really good prompt engineer, you'll get exactly what you want. But if you're a user who doesn't really know what to write in, Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2 is a really good option to be able to say, hey, I just want to put in 3 or so sentences worth of words, and that's it. Give me something that I can actually work with. So it's actually pretty good. So I love that. Next one, AI Johnny.
Multi-image composition. You can upload multiple reference images like your product and a beach, and the model perfectly blends them using image composition. So you don't have to do it all with text. You can actually load in images and say, use this 1950 Studebaker, use this person, use this red and white striped shirt, and it'll do accordingly based on the images and the text combined.
Yeah, no, the interesting thing is there's a little plus button here, and it actually supports up to 18 images for an image. So you can actually reference up to 18 things inside of an image. And so those are actually pretty impressive to be able to add that many things to it. Now in video, you can only add 3 things. Now we're not going to go into video today, but just a little sneak. If you ever want to just play around, that same button I mentioned here down at the bottom, you can select the video tab, and then you get a whole bunch of features here. And you can say, I want to ingredients, which is just a reference image, or you can say frame, which is a starter image, the starter frame, and you can set your orientation. If you notice, the aspect ratio itself is only widescreen or portrait, like landscape or portrait. You don't really have any other choices. And you can also select, depending on the model you picked, you can pick 4 seconds, 6 seconds, or 8 seconds. All right, yeah, Johnny. So we've talked about the killer features, but we have to actually come to the cons, right?
Okay. Usage. The biggest con is the quota. The underlying inference is heavy, so basic tier users only get about 20 uses a day. Even ultra subscribers cap it at 1,000. For those of us that are cheap and don't want to pay for the pro plans, get used to running into paywalls all the time. I ran into paywall this morning on Cowork. I ran into paywall this morning on I think Manus. So sometimes it just says, sorry, you can't use it. Come back in 4 hours, you can use it again.
Yeah, that's the way it is. We're in this token economy now, so it's becoming scarce. All right, the next one is strict safety filters. So AI has incredibly strict safety guardrails. Now we've found that especially with Google, Veo and Nano Banana, their image models itself, they tend to be on the more conservative side of being able to do things like harm. So if you're actually trying to do, some skit that's actually doing something pretty funny, or you want to do a Bible study, shout out to Shauna. Tonight is Thursday night, and Bible study for at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is a season finale for her as well. Congrats, Shauna. If you want to actually do a Bible story, or if you want to do something of a famous person, whatever it is, Nano Banana and Gemini, Google Veo tend to be a little bit strict on the things that you can actually do. So you might be a little bit frustrated, and just play around with it. You'll probably get around it if you actually just tweak your prompt a little bit. And lastly, the Pro tier exclusivity. So the Nano Banana Pro ultra high fidelity is locked behind paid limits because it's super expensive. And I want to bring up the pricing just so people understand what these things cost, AI Johnny, because a lot of people don't even realize how expensive these image generated tools are. So let me actually share a screen for the pricing ladder. So yeah, Johnny, let's actually get to the pricing ladder and while I actually get up the pricing.
Sure. Break down of the pricing ladder so you know the options, especially if you're plugging in your own apps via the API. So, like every product that we show, there's a dabbler, a free tier. What can you do for $0? You can get standard Nano Banana 2 model with strict limit of uses per day. Great for personal use, but you lack the continuous pro upgrade. It's also great for learning how the tool works, understanding all the different options. The second
Exactly.
thing is the side hustler. So this is a pay as you go. This is a sweet spot because you can pay fractions of a cent per image generated. You unlock Nano Banana Pro to access commercial grade capabilities without a massive monthly subscription. And then the Powerhouse, which is for serious agencies, you get high volume API access with thousands of uses every day. So I know is that what we have?
Yeah, we have the ultra, the ultra
Yeah,
version.
just sidebar, quick sidebar. 100%, 140% of our monthly budget goes directly to Gemini for the high tier on this one tool.
Definitely. We use it so you guys can actually get the benefit of what we're doing. All right, guys, let me talk about images because a lot of people we talk at the water cooler and we never actually understood what these things cost. So I want to give you guys a detailed breakdown on what's really happening behind the scenes. So when you actually generate an image, this model we're using here is Nano Banana Regular. It's Nano Banana 2. So that's called Gemini 3.1 Flash Image Preview. I know it's a mouthful. But the cost of that to generate one image, we generated a 1K image, it costs 0.67 cents. So roughly 7 cents to generate one image. Now, you can upscale that to even a 4K image, and that will cost you about 15 cents per image. So if you guys thought that these things, why are they so cheap? Why are they limiting into credits? Guys, Nano Banana Regular is about 17 is it, what was I say 17 cents. Hold on, I lost my thing. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Flash preview. Yeah, so the output price itself, where did it go? Okay, seems like when you zoom in the actual text gets this, they eat this text. So anyway, I can't zoom in as much because I want to show you guys. That's it. You can't get any more. All right. So what you get is one image for the 1K version is 0.67, so 7 cents roughly, right? So if you actually multiply that by, if you do that, Johnny, you said what, 50 times you have to generate to get the right one, right? This thing can actually definitely cost about, what's that, 50 times. If it's 100, it will be $7. So it'll be $3.50 to generate 50 images. Now that's on the regular one, right? Now they actually have the Pro version, which we did use Nano Banana Pro. And let me just go ahead and go and see what Nano Banana Pro is costing. So per image, Nano Banana Pro on the 1K file size, that is working out to be image. Where's the image? Image. All right, Pro image, that itself is costing, it's 13 cents or 13 and a half cents for one image. If you wanted to be an upscale 4K image, it's 24 cents per image. So guys, I want you to remember that these things are super expensive. So if you're actually generating, that's why it's eating up so many of your credits. And this is only just images. We haven't even gotten to video. So just remember, Nano Banana 2 is costing about 7 cents for the most basic image. And on Nano Banana Pro, it's about 13 or 14 cents for the Pro version. So just keep that in mind when you're generating so many images and like, why are my credits eating up so much? They have to actually kind of make money on this. That's what they're doing. All right, yeah, Johnny, let's actually take
Go a little deeper. Okay, everybody. So if God has not blessed you with the brain of an autistic savant, shout out to Thursday night, then you're going to want to tune out. But if you do like things like API keys and Python scripts, then lean in. AI Junior what is under the hood? What advanced or really technical things are possible that we should know about regarding this tool?
All right, so first of all, if you notice on the visual here, I had to put in this sculpture here of, I can't remember the name. It's Michelangelo's thing. That's, who's that again? If anybody remembers, I think that's, I can't remember, whatever. Anyway, so the point is,
that Grant, Ulysses Grant?
no. That's David. Yeah, I think this is David, and he's right. So what happens is last week or 2 weeks ago when we're teaching about diffusion models, Adrian gave us a really great analogy, and I want us to bring it back again. And the reason why it is that all these models itself, for the image models itself, is using a diffusion model, right? So just to hit on this point again, Nano Banana 2 and Nano Banana Pro are built on diffusion models, and what it is, it starts with the noise, right? Just Gaussian noise. And then it actually starts to clean up, just like what Adrian mentioned last week, is like taking just a brand new stone and start chiseling away at the pieces until you get a beautiful masterpiece. And it does that with many iterations. And because it does it with many iterations, it eventually comes out to this beautiful image of, the titanium cup on the actual counter, and it just keeps on going until it looks as good as it can. So that's roughly what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah, Johnny, did anybody fall asleep on that?
No, but let's get into some ethics and takeaways because we only have about 10 minutes left.
All right.
So, like everything else, we always interject some ethical words of wisdom. So, with regards to using AI to make images and or videos, don't use AI image generation to create deepfakes or deceive customers about the product's true capabilities. That said, here are a couple of creative business cases for the use of this tool. One is you can do product mock-ups like we did with our text.
All right, so I think AI Johnny might be having. Let me just read these ones. These creative business ones. So on the product mockup side, you can generate endless.
Do A/B testing, wildly different visual concepts.
All right, let me just read this one. So from the creative side, product mockups. So we can generate. Yeah, Johnny, have some technical difficulties. I'm going to mute you for a second until you actually just maybe get a little bit more bandwidth, and then come back in, okay? All right, so let me read these ones. So we can actually generate endless lifestyle shots for your e-commerce stores. Things like ad campaigns, A/B tests can be widely done to visual concepts, so you can actually try them out on Facebook instantly. You can also do things like storyboarding, so directors can pitch entire movie scenes before actual filming to save lots of times. On the technical side, you can actually do things like generate game assets. So perfectly titled backgrounds, textures for game development. You can actually do that relatively quickly. UI, UX design, you can actually rapidly generate mock-ups or prototypes of your apps that you actually want to build. And lastly is synthetic training data. We're seeing a high amount of actual usage in synthetic training data for, training AIs on your specific data set. So if you have not enough data to train on, you can actually just generate synthetic data for your specific computer vision models. All right. Shauna actually is saying, I knew AI Johnny was an AI. His current glitch is a dead giveaway. I love that. That's so true, Shauna. All right. AI Johnny, ready?
I don't know. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're back. Awesome.
So, in my events, I took that 2D picture.
All right, seems if AI Johnny is having a little,
and now I'm printing it out of my 3D printer.
Yeah, AI Johnny, you're still a little bit choppy. So let me just go ahead. Does anybody have any questions so far that they actually want to ask about this show or about anything? We're actually wrapping up the season. This is the penultimate episode, season finale. Does anybody have any questions? We can take about 1 or 2 questions. Does anybody have any questions right now? All right. Yeah, Johnny, I know you're actually might be a little choppy. Do you want to be able to try to see if you can read one of the live stream questions? Oh, actually, Andy asked that question. Andy has a question. Hold on. Let's see what that is. Andy says, I heard people, let me bring that in. So I heard people say the new ChatGPT image model is pretty good. Any thoughts? You're absolutely right. So let me give a little bit of background on what's actually Andy's asking. So the previous winner, if the image models itself, was Nano Banana Pro. It was also, before that, it was Nano Banana 2. No, ChatGPT was a little bit behind in terms of their text to image model generation, and they came out with their text to image model 2, right? And it actually blew everything out of the water. So it actually shot up to #1 on the leaderboards. So if you actually want to see what actually the difference is, now keep in mind the difference in terms of benchmarks is all academic, right? As you can see, the difference that we saw between Nano Banana 2 and Nano Banana Pro is definitely, in my opinion, not very much difference. The difference between the same thing in Nano Banana Pro and the ChatGPT's image model, again, it's still academically better, but I can't see a difference to justify the price. So our recommendation is, sure, if you look at the benchmarks itself, they're pretty good, but for the cost and for the price, we don't recommend going with the more expensive model, especially if you're on the free tier of any of these plans. So definitely try to reel it in on the cost if you want to save some money. Any thoughts you want to add to that, DI Johnny? Great question, Andy.
No, but if you can hear me, I've got a question.
Sure. Well, I want to get to actually the most important part of the news, but so if you want to actually do that, or you want to go ahead and let's read the news, because we want
Let's do one question. Future Boy wants to know, will AI image models replace human photographers entirely?
You know what? I'm just going to answer this blatantly. No, they're not going to replace photographers, but I do think that it's going to shift. So job market is going to shift. People aren't going to go to a photographer anymore and go take pictures of their babies or on their first, they're probably just going to do a Nano Banana image in the future. I don't think that anybody's going to go to a studio anymore. So yeah, I think it's just the jobs are going to shift around. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. So let's actually go to the news. Yeah, Johnny, we actually have some really important breaking news that we want to elaborate on because it's actually pretty huge in what's going on, the fight with the United States and China.
China blocks Meta Manus AI acquisition. Is that the one?
You're absolutely right.
In a massive geopolitical shockwave, China has officially blocked Meta's $2 billion acquisition of the AI agent startup Manus, both of which tools I use. Founders of Manus actually tried to flee to Singapore, but the Chinese government blocked them from leaving the country. That's a wonderful world we live in today, isn't it?
Yeah, Shauna said, I love your news segment, guys. Bring it on. All right, so here's the problem. So we're actually in this, let's call it, this AI Cold War, right? And it's actually interesting how things are actually shaping up. We're actually seeing that the Chinese are actually going fully open source and on the cheaper models because we've blocked all the NVIDIA chips to train all the high-end models over to China. So because there's actually a blockage on the high-end chips, China's figuring out a different way to actually solve this problem. So they're building much cheaper open source models, and their models are pretty good. So DeepSeek itself is really, really cheap, relatively good. Again, if you're looking at academically better, you're going to have to go through a fine-tooth comb to actually say, oh, this specific thing is better because of these specific reasons. So definitely frontier models itself, the United States are actually ahead, but China, again, the difference in how far they are is not that far. Now, this is interesting. Meta was behind in their agentic flow, so they went ahead and bought Manus, which is the agentic workflow system that China was built in China. These guys, these founders says, hey, you know what? Meta is buying us for $2 billion. We're going to sell it to the company. The deal was almost done. They was getting their passports ready. They moved the company to Singapore, and China's government said, I'm sorry. So unfortunately, China has blocked the actual sale. The check has been already cashed. Everything was already done. So these guys are now stuck in China. The founders are stuck in China, and the Chinese government says, no, we're not selling to a US-based company. So unfortunately, we don't know how this is going to shake out. We're seeing a little bit of issues happening with respect to the free markets, those other things. So we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with this agentic workflow platform called Manus. Yeah, Johnny, what about any feedback on that one you want to add?
More on China, but I'm still proud to be an American. The aggressive move by Beijing has U.S. companies heavily hesitating on any further moves in China. With the open source DeepSeek version 4 model being so incredibly cheap and powerful, the industry is now terrified, asking what else is China up to and how much control do they really have? So that's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah,
I
the
do have a
thing.
story about Google too.
Yeah, so the thing that's interesting, I want you guys to understand that, right? It's becoming a really a economics player. Now, if you guys look at the best frontier model right now, it is actually by Anthropic, right? Their model itself is $30 for a million output tokens. If you actually look at and those are the American models, right? Now Gemini and OpenAI, they're roughly in the $12 to $30 range for a million tokens. If you go to the Chinese models, you can get output tokens for in the $1 to $3 range. So you're actually saying it's 10 times cheaper, even 15 times cheaper if you go to the Chinese models. So then US companies are saying, okay, why should I pay $30 for an American frontier model when the Chinese model itself is just as good at 1/10 the price? So, and the thing is, we're sending all the data, right? Companies are using their private data and sending it over to China. So what are they doing behind the scenes? So we're definitely paying attention to what is going on. We'll keep you guys updated. So keep that in mind. All right, yeah, Johnny.
Google I/O 2026 rumors on a lighter note. Google I/O is officially set for May, and the rumors are getting juicy. Industry insiders are expecting major announcements around the highly anticipated VO version 4 video generation model. I've got a book in my head about the Book of Life, shout out to Thursday Night, that I'd like VO4 to just take it out of my brain and put it onto film. Maybe VO4, maybe version 4 can do that for me.
You know what, AI Johnny, maybe. So these are all just rumors, but we like to speculate just a little bit because it's a little bit fun. AI Johnny, you're probably going to like this. So they're thinking of actually getting up to 30-second videos in VO4. Now, I don't know if that's just a rumor, the rumor mill, but it's nice to actually hope for those kind of improvements. And, because it's a developer conference, they're actually talking about overhauling their agentic workflow to compete with co-work and, all the other agentic workflows that they're a little bit behind on. So can't wait to actually see on May 16th what Google I/O actually releases. All right, yeah, Johnny, what else?
Well, what else is we're at time, brother. So I'm going to go generate a hyper-realistic poster of myself drinking from that titanium Waldo mug and hang it in my office. To the team at Google Flow, we know you're watching. Our students are hungry to master your tool, and if you want to partner with Airhead Institute, we're here every day at noon. This is the penultimate episode of season 11. What does that even mean? I want to thank everybody for being with us on this amazing journey. We love our community, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow to kick off on a Friday, season 12. So I guess we've got our work cut out for us tonight, huh?
Definitely.
You, Junior?
Definitely, guys. Thank you guys as always for joining us. These classes are always free live, and you can ask questions on Zoom like we actually had. Thank you, Andy, and everyone who actually commented in the chat especially on a live stream. We love your guys' feedback. Again, today is a Thursday, so join us for 7 p.m. Eastern time. We actually have the penultimate episode of Shauna's Bible study, which is wrapping up season 9, I believe, which is actually wrapping up the whole entire Lent / crucifixion story. Don't want to miss that. Again, invite a friend, like, share, and follow us on all the socials, Airhead Institute. And replays are available on YouTube for a limited time, but sign up at airheadinstitute.ai to actually register for a free account and sign up for RSVPs so you get reminders for any of our shows are happening. AI Johnny, catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.